Hey YouTube, got a couple of guitars in to get fixed. I've not actually looked at them yet, so I thought this is an opportunity for an episode of What's in the box? What's in the box? Sign of the fox. What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box? Hope it isn't socks. Yeah, so see, I wrote more lyrics, twice as many lyrics this time. Yeah, so I got these in, just picked them up yesterday now. I've recovered from the old COVID. I know one of them is a Floyd Rose ticket set up, and the other one is the guy said he just broke the nut on it, so it's for a nut replacement. So not really exactly sure what I'm going to. See if I can get the one that isn't a Floyd Rose first. I think it's a Honda Les Paul, but I've not seen it. So one of them, if it's Les Paul looking, I'll open the other bag first, or I'll open the one that's got a zip at the top first, whichever one it is. It is. Oh, this will be the Floyd Rosey one. I see a pointy headstock. Pointy! So, I've not, as I said, I've not even seen it, so I might as well milk it for all it's worth. Actually, if I thought about it, I could probably milk 2 episodes out of this, but no, let's not be silly here. So, we have... Wow! Wow! Look at the colour. Isn't that an amazing paint job? And you can see there's slight issues with the bridge being just a tad high. Can't quite get my finger behind the fingerboard. Yeah, so as I thought, it actually does say, this is a new one for me, it does actually say on it, manufactured by Floyd Rose Patents, which I don't understand. That doesn't make any sense to me at all, because I was always thought that the Floyd Rose license bit was for the nut. You know, a Floyd Rose nut has the nut and the clamp at the top are the same thing. In this, it's got a nut, then a clamp. So you wonder why it's got a Floyd Rose Patents. Also, this is a Bandmaster type bridge. I hope it actually looks an alright nick. So the problem with these is, well, in saying that, I've never had a Honda one. The West Tone version of this is excellent because it's made of metal, and the ones you get on many later guitars, I did a couple of guitars a couple of months ago. There was an Epiphone Explorer, sort of 80s Explorer, and an Encore with this kind of bridge, but the block just turns to Weetabix. It just crumbles after so many long. So I don't know, that just because it's the same shape doesn't mean they use the same quality to design it, because the West Tone ones are made of metal and they're no problem at all, and it's actually a really good bridge. It's just you see this shape and you immediately go you get Marlins with it as well. Yeah, no, actually this is pretty damn cool. I'm not sure how the crackle finish is done. It seems to be very much below it. So it's in such good condition. It's even got its original. It's an HK7600 BBK. Yeah, made in Korea. It's got the thing that holds the Allen keys on the back. Only one of the Allen keys in it, but that's not too bad. Not my favourite type of tuners, but I suppose if you're going to be locking it off with a Floyd Rose, it doesn't really matter what the tuners are. Serial number starts 88, so I think Samick built 1988. Actually, with the first good cheap guitar, the one that kind of started this whole thing off for me, with it having hundreds of guitars rather than being a normal person and having 4. You know, I had like my Epiphone SG, my Gibson SG, the Schecter Telly, and a bass before I bought the Hondo Telly with probably actually this exact neck on it. It's a pointy headstock. I picked it up in cash converters for 30 quid or something, or 40 quid, 30 quid I think it was, and I could not believe how good a guitar it was. Basically like this, but I mean that paint job is just supreme. Got sort of lace sensor looking pickups as well. So hopefully I can get this set up quite well. The block looks to be in decent condition. Yeah, I think it's really just a case of adjusting the springs on it. It should be fine. Yeah, so guitar 1 actually It's Malco approved. Basically paint job, and it's a Strat. I wasn't sure whether I was expecting a Strat or not. So the other one is I'm sure he said it was a Hondo Les Paul. I was round to see the guy the other yesterday. Lovely guy. I think he said he gave up playing the guitar like 20 years ago or something like that, and then at the start of the lockdown he said he would give it another go, and then he ended up. Well, he's been watching me on YouTube, so he's sitting with me and I'm going like, oh, look at all these pure amazing guitars, and it's like none of them are really expensive. So I think instead of doing what you could have done, he could have bought himself a Gibson Les Paul. Yeah, a couple of grand, no problem. But instead, he spent the last couple of years, he's got like a couple of racks, and he was like buying Hondos. So he's got, I don't know, 10, 20 guitars for the same price as a Les Paul. Aye. So it's basically it's just chipped the nut off. So I need to see if I've got one. So pretty bog standard Hondo Les Paul. Looks all right. That's not anything like as exciting for me anyway as the crackle pointy-headed Stratocaster. That'll just be a case of just buying another nut. I don't know if I've got one in my parts box. I've got a feeling I've got a black one. I don't know if I really care if it's black or white. Yeah, so interesting. I'll do videos of these during the week. Maybe I don't know if I'll be able to go on to them today. I've got a bass I've got to do. First, my pal Ivory's wanting it. I've got a crazy switch that I'm not going to tell him about until I've handed him the bass that I'm going to put in it. He's wanting like a Billy Sheehan type thing. So he's got like he's got an EBO pickup for he's got a P bass. I think it's a Squire. I could do another what's in the box because I've not actually seen it. For some reason I think it might be blue, but I don't know. So he's got like just a Squire P bass. I'm going to stick an EBO pickup into the neck, make the two knobs volumes, and then have two outputs. So you basically got a volume for the EBO pickup, a volume for the P bass pickup, and then you run it into 2 amps, Billy Sheehan style. But what I'm thinking of doing, I've not told him this yet, I've not even actually worked out whether it's possible. So you've got stereo outs, right? Or 2 outputs. One for this, I'm pointing to this guitar, but I mean the bass. You get an output for this pickup, an output for this pickup. But as you know, a P bass pickup, it's in 2 parts. I don't actually have a P bass hanging on the wall just now, which I could have thought about. So, in theory, I suppose I can sort of explain it here a little bit. This kind of is like a P bass pickup, but it's in below a cover. So you've got like basically 2 pickups, one, 2 that are normally they're separate. The other one I've got factored. Just this might make it. I'm kind of trying to talk myself into what it is I'm trying to do. So if you imagine it only had half of these pickups, just imagine these 2 aren't there, right? So you've got like this pickup and this pickup. Well, this pickup picks up these 2 strings, right? And this pickup picks up these 2 strings. So wouldn't it be cool if I could put a switch in it, or maybe a push-pull pot? That in normal mode you've got, one pickup is output 1 and the bridge pickup is output 2, or the P bass pickup is output 2. So I'm thinking if I can put a switch in which will split it so that it turns off the EBO pickup, but it turns on the P bass pickup, and instead of both halves of the pickup getting sent to the output 2, one will get sent to output 1. So in theory that way, I mean, because he's going to have it plugged into 2 amps anyway, that's the whole point of having the 2 outputs. You could put the top 2 strings out of that amp and the bottom 2 strings out of that amp, which I think would be worth it just for the fun of it, to see what it sounds like. Basically I'm doing it sort of for the video, because it's not really going to work in here because I don't have a stereo mic. But you know what I mean, I'm thinking, see when you're doing this sort of, that means that the low note will be coming out of that side, and then the high note will be on that side, so it'll go boom ba boom ba boom ba boom ba, and that'll work on. Could be interesting. Basically just a cheesy silly thing that it's one of I normally do this sort of thing with that's what the Buckfaster casters are for. It's like, I've got a crazy idea, what would that sound like? And it's like, I don't know, it could be interesting. I doubt it's the most amazing sound ever, because someone's obviously thought about it before, will have thought about it before, and it would be in production if it was a pure amazing thing. But it might be really silly, and it might be fun. So that's what, like, things like, I built the piccolo bass and all that. It's all these things that's kind of like a wee bit of an experiment, but because I'm basically just chopping it up, building it, and painting it bucky colours, it means I'm not stuck with 20 prototypes of mad ideas. So I did it to sell, and someone else can have a mad prototype that's shaped like Bucky. I mean, all all the guitars all work as normal guitars as well. They've just normally got like a really silly, it does something really silly as well as still being a decent guitar. And if I kept them, I'd just end up with another, I don't know how many Buckycasters are there, is it 30 something? They're not all, you know, crazy ideas, but most of my crazy ideas have gone into Buckycasters. So if you've got one of them, they'll be worth mega bucks once I'm famous. Rock on, catch you later.